Can the Arizona Cardinals attempt to snap a 7-game losing streak? And what's the latest on head coach Jonathan Gannon? Cards at Bengals, big-time underdog. PHNX Cardinals starts now. Welcome in live from Play at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. It's the pregame show edition. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Bo Brock. Brittan Golden, former Arizona Cardinal wide receiver. 7-game losing streak. Are you into that? Are you into a team who hasn't won on a Sunday since September 14th? Bo, how we living?
We're living well. I mean, you're trying to bring me down with all those just facts and stats that
Cardinals don't like those.
Yeah, right. Surround this team. But always good to get an opportunity to hang out with my good buddies and, of course, all of you in the chat for a pregame, a watch-along, halftime, a postgame show. Just 2 more of these things. But are we actually rooting for the Arizona Cardinals to win a football game at this point in the season? I don't know. We're going to get into the draft implications. We're going to get into who's available in this, who's not available for the rest of the season.
Right.
And, of course, this episode of PHNX Cardinals, it's brought to you by our friends over at Gila. Check them out right now. You do you, Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playGila.com for more details. Brittan, I mean, we're talking about this big-time passing attack from Joe Burrow to Chase, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. It's really going to be tough for this Cardinals team to slow them down.
I agree. I mean, you got 2 elite wide receivers on the outside for the Bengals, and they do like to move these guys around and try to get them in favorable matchups for themselves, right?
Yeah.
You add in Chase Brown, who's been really, he can be an actual force out of the backfield, catching the football, running the football, and you've got a capable tight end as well. So I mean, you've in Joe Burrow included. So I mean, it doesn't look good on paper going in. I mean, it's going to be a tough sled for, the Cardinals to be able to stop these 2 premier wide receivers. But,
Yep.
I mean, we've seen crazier things.
I mean, the Bengals are not a great team. They were shut out by Baltimore a couple weeks ago, but Baltimore we've seen very capable in recent weeks. I just think, we've talked about it ad nauseum, Bo. Michael Bidwill looking for a reason to bring Jonathan Gannon back. Any reason. And I think – it would have been last week against the Falcons. It certainly could be this week against the Bengals. Like, I know Cardinal fans very much feel differently, but if you're Jonathan Gannon, like, a win probably guarantees you the head coaching job in 2026. And it shouldn't based on logic alone, right? This is a team that's got 3 wins on the season, that's been one of the worst in the NFL since early September. But I think the Cardinals – I expect them to be semi-competitive early. Now, if they can hang long-term, that remains to be seen. But, as we shift our attention to JG, Bo, your optics of the situation, I don't think have changed here over the last several days. Jonathan Gannon remains safe until he's not.
Right. I mean, you have to wonder if that decision has just been made, right? If nothing can undo that assurance that was made weeks ago that he was going to remain the Arizona Cardinals head coach beyond the 2025 season, despite it being disastrous and it getting worse from that reported moment where after the second of 2 consecutive ass kickings that he was going to be safe, and we're just going to chalk this up as maybe a fluky injury-plagued season, and we can debunk that, and we have, right? But you have to wonder, like, would another non-competitive performance, because that could very realistically happen against the Bengals, could that be another strike against him, or is he just bulletproof until the end of the season? That's the kind of the dilemma that we're dealing with. As you mentioned with Michael Bidwill, and you look at this, you're going to have the outrage from the fan base, and it's another non-competitive performance would just continue to kind of stoke those flames.
Fuel that.
Yeah, right? And that would in next week, as that's kind of trending towards the Rams having something to play for, it just creates even more of a uphill climb for you in this court of public opinion. So it just serves Jonathan Gannon well and it really kind of pains me to say this, that they don't need to outright win this game. They just need to be competitive.
We're going to talk through draft scenarios here in a little bit, but Brittan Golden, how big of an indictment is it on this coaching staff when you look around the NFL and first-year guys like Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, and, of course, Mike Vrabel in New England all turn around a program in a single year. I know the situations were different. They inherited, superior quarterback play. But to watch each of those teams compete for the number 1 seed in their respective conference, it is pretty wild considering we're sitting here in year 3 and we're talking about another rebuild with the same regime.
No, I agree. You get a coach like Ben Johnson or Mike Vrabel, right? They're two completely opposites when you talk about sides of the football.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, a guru on the offensive side. Vrabel is a guru and ex-player on the defensive side, right? But it's two guys that can rally a football team.
Yeah.
Right? These guys came into position in this, and the players bought in. Right? And at the same time, Ben Johnson, right, he finds ways to get playmakers to football.
He does.
Here in Arizona, we don't do that. We don't find ways to get our playmakers to football. And
right.
we've got multiple guys on the opposite side of the ball that are very capable with Michael Wilson, with Marvin, with Trey.
Yep.
Right? You've got. I mean, even your running backs, they're young, but they can make plays for you and do things, and we just don't know how to incorporate multiple playmakers in Arizona. And you see that on the opposite side where Vrabel puts his defenses in the best situations possible. He's got an offensive coordinator that is very capable and can find ways to allow Drake May to put his playmakers in position to make plays. You don't have anybody on staff here that can do that.
Yeah, I look at what happened even a couple days ago when Brian Flores basically won a game by himself with his defense against Detroit, at Detroit. You've got Kevin O'Connell, who's the offense hasn't been right because of the quarterback play all year. And you've got an elite defensive coordinator say, hey, just go win us the game with this side of the ball. Mm-hmm. I know the injuries are piling up now at the end of the year. When has that happened one time this year, Bo, for Jonathan Gannon, where it's like, hey, you know what? You're going into Indy. You're going against Green Bay. Mm-hmm. Shut them down for today. We know that Kyler Murray's out and James Conner's out. Like, go and win a game with your defense.
Right.
I think that, along with the coaching enablement that has happened, I think that's the biggest indictment of Jonathan Gannon in 2025 is just – his side of the ball not being buttoned up enough to get them 6-7 wins in a season where you play the AFC and NFC South.
Right. No, there has been no just dominating performance on that side of the football. There's been one game of true complimentary football, one game where the Cardinals, you could take them out of this deep, dark depression that is the 2025 season, and it was Monday night against Dallas. And that was so long ago. That was 7 weeks ago. Actually, 8 plus a bye week in between. It's just been a lot of losing since then. And no, that is a big thing, especially when you look at where the injuries were initially. It was on the offensive side of the football. You went down your 2 top running backs. You went down your quarterback. You went down a couple spare offensive linemen. Most of your defensive side of the football has been relatively healthy.
Yeah.
And now you've got a couple injuries that are piling up on that defensive side of the football where no Walter Nolan. He's officially lost for the rest of his rookie season, and it's been tough, guys. I mean, we haven't seen the top pick far too often this season, and then Garrett Williams is out. So it's just kind of a mess, but it's something that I think you haven't gotten done up until 2 weeks to go. You're not going to get it done this entire season for the most part, in my opinion.
Yep. Let's take a look at draft scenarios. Before we dive into the pre-flight inactives today, we had Noah put together this graphic along with producer Damon earlier this week. This is week 17 if you're scoring at home for the 2026 NFL Draft. Of course, Cardinals, the lowest they can pick right now is 6th, assuming they lose out. They're at 6 right now, and they keep kind of jumping back and forth with Tennessee with that strength of schedule. But in terms of like how they can firmly jump teams today, assuming that they take an L in Cincy, Browns have to beat the Steelers, which, again, I know the Steelers are playing good football. In my opinion, Brittan, I'd love your take on this. I do think this is a game that the Steelers historically lose under Mike Tomlin. No DK Metcalf. Shedeur Sanders, let's see him make some plays. What do you think about the Browns' chances today against the Steelers?
I mean, I think that if Cleveland could get out of its own way, and that's coaching staff and all the noise on the outside, and just let Shedeur play the game and maybe not try to dictate certain things. I mean, you've got a quarterback. Shedeur is very capable of leading that offense and doing stuff, and we've seen that already, right? Turnovers have been a problem, but a lot of those have been tip passes by his own guys, right? And on the other side, like the Steelers, right? They've played good football, but at the same time, they've been beatable in a lot of the games that they've won.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't have your number one receiver, so you're kind of struggling with that, and you don't have him for the rest of the season. And you're in games as the Steelers where you need to win these football games.
To keep Baltimore mad.
Yeah, to keep Baltimore down. So it's a very winnable game if Cleveland can put 2 and 2 together and put some, be complimentary. They have a great defense in Cleveland.
Can Myles Garrett win a game by himself? That's what we need. Old man Rodgers.
He's going to have to turn into what Brian Flores did to Detroit.
Yes. That's to me that's the game with the second most implications. Let's take a look at the chart again. Bo, later this afternoon,
right.
It is the toilet bowl.
Get your popcorn ready.
Get your barf bags. Get your plunger. Giants at Raiders. Bo, talk our audience through why this game is so important.
Well, it's important in the sense that the Giants, if they hold on to the top pick, they're the team that is the least quarterback needy ahead of you as far as the top 5 of this draft. If the Vegas lock in this loss, I should say, they probably lock in the top pick going forward, even though they've got another sloppy game in the finale against a Kansas City Chiefs team that has also cashed in for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But Vegas, if they're locked in at 2 wins, that's 1 quarter. They're going to get the pick of the litter as far as this quarterback class, right? So we'll see. And Benjamin Albright's tweeting nonsense out on Twitter, and we'll get into it during the watch-along as far as some things that he speculated on. We love Ben. But this is one of those where you want the Giants to hold the line at the top of the draft because that's a chance, like a very realistic chance. You could get up, whether you're 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, you can get up to 1 if you needed to.
Yeah, again, like the Giants are the Cardinals' hope. We talked about it. Like, even if the Giants were to pivot off Jackson Dart, well, there's an avenue for the Cardinals. They would, obviously want to take a look at.
Just teach them to slide.
Yeah, 2025 first rounder. But we are all fans of the silver and black today. Let's take a look again one more time at this chart. Titans hosting the Saints, I think, is a very real possibility. Both teams have been playing relatively well. Titans' defense has been playing pretty good, as has the Saints. Now, the Saints have won 2 in a row. Both have been at home. So, again, the Titans, everything to play for. You've got your quarterback. Your interim head coach is trying to win games. I'm going to tell you right now the game that I think is least likely.
Saints are really good defensively.
They are. Jets at Patriots at Jets today. That spread can't be robust enough for me to take the New York Jets. Like, the Jets are openly trying to tank. They're starting something called Brady Cook over Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields. The Patriots would literally have to have their bus breakdown, and it's you and me, Brittan, suiting up today for New England. The Jets are clearly trying to tank this game.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know why they're even playing that football game, if we're being honest. I mean, the fact that you came out and you said, we've got veteran capable quarterback that could start this game and maybe put us in position to might put some points on the board. This is just, the Jets have basically said, we know that
we're
this
done.
is done.
See you guys.
We're good. We're just going to concede, and we're going to just try to figure out our next terrible season next season as being the Jets.
They're like me with the when the dealer hits 21 on the blackjack table downstairs way too many times. I'm just like, I'm cashing out. I'm cashing out on 2025. Even though be back down there.
You will be. Big thanks to our friends at Play at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Let's take a look at the pre-flight inactives today. No Budu Baker, Bo. He is in concussion protocols. Snuck his way back into the Atlanta game, by the way.
Such a Buddha thing to do.
And now is out this week.
I was seeing stars, but I'm good.
Right, yeah. Somehow he's able to, game the protocol and get back in the game, and then on Monday you're like, hey, we probably rewatched the tape, and that was a bad idea.
Couldn't have gotten that with Marv earlier this year in a couple of those games.
Right.
Some healthy scratches, no real significant inactives outside of the aforementioned Garrett Williams and Walter Nolan, who are on IR.
An interesting one, and we're not going to spend more than this, like a sentence on it. It's like Josh Carty, who they signed as a place kicker after Ryland missed 2 field goal attempts last week. They signed him only to make him inactive. So
classic Cardinals.
Yeah, it's really put the pressure on Chad today.
Love it.
You really showed who you really are.
That unfortunately I can't call him Josh Farty instead of Josh Carty should he miss a field goal. I was really
now
looking
I'm
forward
really
to that.
happy. Now I'm
You're
really
excited
happy.
that didn't transpire?
Yeah.
Man, you can expect zingers and one-liners like that during our watch-along today, by the way. If you stick around, please don't unsubscribe. We're talking today about the Cardinals against the Cincinnati Bengals. A player that is active is Max Melton, who has not essentially been in like football purgatory with this coaching staff, it feels like, for the better part of 2 months. Can you give us at all your assessment on what's happened with the former second-rounder?
Well, before his heel injury, which I think was real, he was benched. So there was a bit of a not a soft benching. I think there was a hard benching. We saw him leave and only play like I think under 15 snaps in a game before injuring that heel, and he was kind of relegated to just playing gunner on special teams.
Yeah.
And then we just saw him have kind of an elongated, return from this heel injury. And I guess they've seen the injuries mount up, and they said, okay, let's kind of find this road to reconciliation between the two parties, because this is a high-invested draft pick. And we saw Max Melton clap back on Twitter recently to Kyle Odegaard saying, basically the Cardinals made a mistake in trading down and not taking Cooper DeJean or the players that were selected ahead of Max Melton when they could have. Max Melton, said, I haven't given up a career touchdown in my 2 seasons and over 1,000 snaps. Now he's got to go out and prove it. I think this is like the few things that you need to tune into the next 2 games is to see guys like Melton and Darius Robinson and Marv, who's going to be playing at less than probably 80% with the heel injury, go out there and find themselves at the NFL level. But Melton, I think, was benched. We'll see if he finds more defensive snaps. I could expect him to continue his role that I think he plays very well on special teams to be in there.
Yeah. He's a starting caliber corner. I've never watched Max Melton and been like, that's a liability. I have watched other Cardinal players who consistently play and think that. So the Cardinals...
He's out of position quite a bit.
Yeah. The Cardinals, to me, like, they're not good enough to not play Max Melton. Like, he's a second-round pick. They're a team that hasn't won on an NFL Sunday in 3 months, Brittan Golden. Like, this should be a time where you evaluate your high picks. I don't want to see journeyman street free agents get log snaps for this team that aren't going to be here next year. Max Melton's going to be on the team next year.
No, I agree. And this is where it comes into play. We talked about the Jets. Like, the Jets are completely giving up. They're just putting in guys that aren't going to get opportunities anywhere else at this point, and just saying, hey, this is your job interview. Maybe it'll help you out for next season. But for the Cardinals, you've already put a lot of your guys on IR.
Yeah.
Right? Now you still have guys that were drafted high that have started for you this season. I think that, I agree with what you said. This has to be kind of a prove-it game for a lot of these, especially these high draft picks, saying, can you help us going forward?
Right.
And if we can't do that, then we might have to part ways in the offseason.
Yep. I love the chance for start Slovis in the chat. That'd be pretty obvious if they were, in fact, tanking. Let's take a look. We're not going to tank our threads today, our game day threads, brought to you by our friends at Rally House. I've got some family that's going to show up later at Gila, and I'm sure my son's going to be sporting one of his many new jerseys he's repping from Rally House that he got this holiday season. Of course, the rivalry jerseys, super hot right now. You can't go wrong. Santa dished out a couple number 85s at the Venerable household. That's the only safe choice right now if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan. 85, maybe a 14. Other than that, I mean, they're few and far between locks for next year, Bo, in terms of Cardinal jerseys.
And Trey McBride, he's got 109 receptions, so he needs just 6 today to set the single-season reception record for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. Or tie it, and then 7 to break it.
I'd say that 85 jersey is the only jersey that you should probably.
Yeah, that's right.
You got the icy whites?
Yeah. No, we did the rivalry jersey.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And then did the red for my daughter. So, listen, Trey had a little bit of a down week for his standards last week. I thought the safety for Atlanta, who's
Jesse Bates.
Yeah, did a nice job on him. Cincinnati's secondary not very good.
They're the worst to cover in the tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, so you assume Trey McBride gets back on pace today. He did make the Pro Bowl. He's going to be first-team All-Pro, and he's the Cardinals' beacon of hope right now. Marvin Harrison Jr. quickly, Bo, he's going to be active. He's going to play. Depending on who you talk to, there's a lot of kind of, wordsmith being done through the media. His kind of his load is going to be lightened a little bit, and we had heard that maybe in last week. And then if that's the case, like, why even play him? If Marvin Harrison Jr. can't be who he's supposed to be, then why is he playing in these games?
That's more of a question for BG. I mean, from what I can just tell you what Gannon told us on Monday was how he came out of a game where he played 50% of the snaps. He was fine, and he wants to play. The training staff has deemed him, not in danger of, making this a worse injury. But when you look at that, Brittan, like when you're only going to be able to play maybe half of your role, how hard is it to kind of get into a rhythm where we've seen Marv, even when he's playing 100% of the time, it's tough to get him in rhythm. What can he gain from these last 2 games?
I mean, if you're regulating snaps when at this point in the season, especially for a horrendous losing team, it's kind of like the thing you've done with Paris, right? The thing you've done with Walter Nolan, the thing you did, with Kyler Murray, with the he's not healthy IR, right? When it should have just been, you should have just IR'd it from the beginning and just been up front with everybody. I don't think you're doing yourself any favors with MHJ right now because, like you said, 50% of the snaps means he's going to go in there and then he's coming off. And he's going in, then he's coming off. And he might be off for 2 plays. He might be off for 6 plays. You never know. It's impossible to get a rhythm in that aspect when you're just going in and coming out and going in and coming out. So at this point, just do everybody a favor and stop BSing us for once this season. Just sit him.
Just sit be straight
him and
with
say,
us.
look, we're just going to try to get to where we're at next season. It'll probably be another dumpster fire, but who knows? We can just don't give. It's just running around. It's been the run around all season long with when it comes to play calling, when it comes to guys on your team. That's all you're doing with him right now. You're not doing anything.
They're just trying to throttle down without doing it officially here. We're not throttling down with our friends at Bet365. It's our pregame picks. Never ordinary. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you download the app today. New customers get $150 in bonus bets. I put this together. I was in the lab this morning. I looked at that Cardinals spread one more time, and I said, are they really going to get blown out by double digits today? And
this is what you came to?
This is what I came to. I got a Cardinals +7, and I really like the number. Jacoby Brissett, obviously, over 260, easy money. Trey McBride, anytime touchdown. Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown. I feel really good about 3/4 of that.
Yeah, I do too.
But the spread, that was the cherry on top. Do you think there's any chance that the Cardinals keep this a one-possession game?
They have to do it offensively. They're not going to be able to do it defensively, as we've outlined. I mean, Burrow, Chase Brown in the backfield, plus the complement of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's just going to be too much for them to overcome. You're going to need probably one of your best offensive performances from Jacoby Brissett and crew without Paris Johnson Jr. And Josh Fryer's been fine.
Yeah.
But are you going to be able to dial up that passing attack, that deep game passing attack, and score 30 points for the first time? Because that's what it's going to take to, I think, maybe cover that.
You have to. You, as a Cardinals organization, if you want to be within 7 points, you might have to score 35 today.
You can't kick a field goal today.
You kick a field goal today, you might as well just walk off the field.
Yeah, you're giving up 50.
Just go for 4th down all day long.
I don't hate that.
Chase Brown is going to score a touchdown in this game. I mean, it's been, I think, opposing running backs have scored in 13 or 14 straight games against the Cardinals.
Wow.
And then Chase Brown has his own 7-game heater that he's on. It's just.
If I'm the Bengals, the opening play, I'm running 4 verts, and I'm going to say I'm putting Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on opposite sides, and we're going to go and say who can we beat one-on-one.
You sound like my son in Madden.
Yeah.
The Bengals 4 verticals, first down.
I think the Bengals give up 30 points per game. So
that sounds bad.
You have to get to their average to have even a shot.
Can we get Michael Wilson at 1,000 yards, please?
What has he got to get there?
He's got to average about 80 yards per game these last 2 games.
Too.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very doable.
I mean, I guarantee if Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't in the lineup, he would definitely get it.
Yeah.
He's kind of in the lineup, though. I mean, I think it's going to be one of those feed Mike and Trey games. It's got to be.
Let's see that. Let's see these super chats here. You guys are crushing it. Over 300 watching live. Hit that like button. Martino, $10. Home for the holidays. Love to hear that. The amount of people that told me Brissett looks great. He runs the offense better than Kyler. Better stats was insane. Friends and family all shocked to learn he's 1-9. And again, I think you can put a lot of that on him, chances to win games. I think you can put a lot on just the supporting cast, specifically the defense, in-game coaching. I'm not going to sit here, Bo, and carry water for Jacoby Brissett. but he's a backup quarterback on a bad team, and usually those come with a lot of losses.
Sure, and look, he was able to do some things, I mean, as far as the downfield passing attack, but you also can point to certain times in the game where he thrives, and it's when the score isn't close.
Usually garbage time.
Yeah, usually garbage time. I think that's his bat signal. Let's get to Shane here. If reports are true about JG's mandate, wouldn't he fight to keep K1 since he's his best option? We know he loves Drew Petzing is a major issue, and if you replace him with Dable, can you buy K1 back in as well?
I think they made the decision that Brissett was the better option, and I think he took the word of his offensive coordinator. And you can quote me on that. As far as Brian Dable, I mean, I just think Monti Ossenfort is going to be hell-bent on trading Kyler Murray this offseason. And so when you're trying to court a Brian Dable, you're going to have to do so with the idea that he can help pick among the quarterbacks there that are available, not from one Kyler Murray. That's my take on it right now. I don't think Kyler Murray is back. Jenga Man, $64, $2. 49ers and Vikings injuries and a record give zero hope for JG Brittan. And I think that speaks to what we talked about earlier. These other teams certainly are down personnel, maybe worse than the Cardinals, and they're out here winning games. Vikings have won like 4 in a row.
That's an indictment, a true indictment of your coaching staff.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting here looking at a 49ers team who basically lost every weapon they had at some point this season. Purdy was out for an extended period of time. Kittle was out for an extended period of time. Fred Warner's been out since week 3. Bosa's been out since they played the Cardinals the first round.
Yep.
Like, you've lost. Ayuk hasn't played it down. Like, you literally, as a 49er team, every number one playmaker you had was out.
Yeah.
And yet you have an opportunity to be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
It's what elite coaching
looks like.
You have
11 wins with an opportunity to go out of here with 13 wins and be the number 1 seed if you can get a win tonight against the Bears. It's unbelievable to sit here and think about that because the Cardinals, yes, you lost James Conner early, but the Cardinals have had all of their playmakers all season long, and they have 3 ugly wins.
Yes.
Right? The Dallas Cowboys, you beat the Cowboys, but we're talking about a defense that is probably one of the poorest secondaries, if not the poorest secondary in the NFL, and you expose it as you should have. But the other 2, you should have lost to the Saints, and you should have lost to the Panthers.
Yeah.
If the Panthers were playing the football back then that they're playing right now, they would have beat the Cardinals by 25 points.
No doubt.
And so it's there's zero hope in this coaching staff. It is, and the excuse part, like, there's no excuse. The Cardinals been pushing this injury thing for, we lost. You didn't lose anybody.
And
you
know
did,
what,
but
Britt,
you didn't.
we talked about it earlier this week, like, and Gannon's not saying that, and the fact that the team is phrasing it like that, they're not doing Gannon any favors.
No.
Like, Gannon's not making excuses. This is the one thing I'll defend JG on. But the Cardinals and their staff so vehemently, like, pushing it out there, clearly to the rap sheets of the world. It's like, guys, we know they're missing players, but they're not on their own. What they're on their own with is they're the only team in the NFL, I think, with 2 losing streaks that eclipse 5 games. Mm-hmm. Like, they're the only team in the NFL that can say that. They're the only team in the NFL that hasn't won on a Sunday in 3 months. Like, those are the stats you should be touting, and you should be touting them for change. Like, I think they're trying to make things better by saying, look, guys, it's injuries, when the casual fan bone knows that that's not the case.
Right. No, you can peel back that onion, and you can find that very easily. It's a very straw man argument made for this Cardinals team that was, I think, rudderless from the very jump.
Yeah.
Even through 2 wins, as Britt was pointing out, like in 2 wins that felt like losses, you've got 1 solid performance on your entire slate. It's really been an embarrassment of a season, and you can't just point to the injuries as the number 1 reason for that.
Let's take a look right now. If you would, hit that like button, subscribe to PHNX Sports. We're not going anywhere. The watch-along returns. So, again, keep it locked into PHNX Sports. Jump on over. We're going to be live for the entirety of Cardinals at Bengals. And, of course, our halftime and post-game show. Do us a favor if you're in the area. Come out for one of our last 2 watch-alongs here. Our watch parties at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. You guys have been awesome. Over 300 strong. Hit that like button. Again, get us to 50K here on YouTube. For Noah, Bo, Brittan, I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you on the watch-along.
We all silly like the mayor.